All right, folks, good afternoon, good evening, good morning. Welcome aboard our free live trade brief, a brief I call Trading the Death Star. This stock literally, if you're not if you don't have kids, or even if you don't have kids, maybe you're just a Star Wars nerd like I was, but everybody remembers the Death Star, right? Big space station, right? That's no moon. That's a space station, almost was blown up by a bunch of teenagers in the aluminum Falcon, and totally rebuilt and taken over the world. That's what we're going to talk about today. Essentially, is the stock that I call the Death Star, and the thing is absolutely unbeatable. Period. There is no equivalent to this stock, and maybe it's the only stock you need to own for the rest of your life. Real quick. Have to disclose what my personal account positions are. Short Lulu, some MGM, some FXI, China, short some Disney, neutral on a defense contractor called Raytheon, and clearly long Amazon. Could not be more long Amazon. Got some Microsoft on too, a covered call that expires tomorrow. So those are my positions. Before we get started, I want to share with you, we did a weekly debrief this morning. Every Thursday at 10 a.m. In our Full Throttle program, we do a weekly debrief. We go through everything that we covered during the week and kind of how goes it. And if we're looking at any potential trades, we actually, as soon as the news broke this morning, in our weekly debrief of the Trump tax returns and the market started to roll over, bought 10 S&P 500 puts at the money that expired tomorrow and made about $9,000 in 27 minutes. Had a fantastic time this morning. What's that have to do with Amazon? Nothing. This is what has to do with Amazon. Check out look at the time. These are screenshots from this morning, and these are current members in the TGO Solo Amazon service. Steve, up 4,800 bucks on one Amazon contract from earlier this week. Up $20,000 on one Amazon synthetic stock. Okay. Oh, hold on. Yep, there we go. Switchology error, my fault. So real quick, just to review that for my attorneys who come in here and every once in a while, make sure I'm doing everything right. There's my personal account disclosure, but here you go. So Steve, 4,800 bucks. So he's essentially up 25 grand since Monday on one contract. Check out how this four-ship of members this morning are doing. Arthur, up over $100,000 in Amazon. James, up 78 grand in Amazon. Dennis, Wiz, latest update on my Amazon synthetic call for June 21 expiry, up 110 grand on one contract. Vic, up 4,200 on 3-day, the 3,500 calls. Absolutely unbelievable. This is this morning, folks. These are screenshots from the live trade brief this morning. Okay, so let's get into it. Clearly, Top Gun Options has something to do with fighter aviation, so let me lay it out there for you. Quick question. Which fighter aircraft would you rather fly? I'm going to give you two choices. There's your first choice. Your first choice is an F-4 Phantom. Pretty cool looking airplane, don't get me wrong. It sits on the ramp leaking fuel and hydraulic fluid. But look at the cockpit, folks. You ready for this? Over 300 switches and dials in that cockpit. The pilot would have to, hell, there was a back seater, right? There was a goose in this airplane. It was so labor intensive. Look at that. Look at all the steam gauges. The pilot would have to spend a lot of what we call heads down time in the cockpit, looking at all this stuff instead of looking outside the aircraft for enemy MiGs or surface air missiles or AAA, anti-aircraft artillery. So a very labor-intensive aircraft. So that's your first choice. Or would you rather fly that? The F-35 Lightning II, the Joint Strike Fighter. Take a look at the cockpit, folks. It's got two flat panel displays. It's got two iPads, man. Anybody see any steam gauges in there? Of course you don't. We actually call this a Wonder Woman jet, man. First of all, it's invisible to radar. Anybody been ignoring the news about how we're all going to die and, Trump's a racist and our country's coming unglued? I have. I've been paying attention to the fact that the Israeli Air Force has been sending F-35s into Iran for the past week and blowing up their nuclear sites. Yeah. So this is a Wonder Woman jet, man. This jet is so smart that it actually limits the amount of data that it will display to the pilot at different portions of the flight. I don't think she or he needs to know this right now, so I'm just not going to display it. You should see the helmet in this thing. The visor, it literally is something out of the future, man. It displays enemy threats up in the visor. It's just an incredible airplane. So obviously your answer is B, right? This is the aircraft you'd want to fly as a fighter pilot. What's this have to do with investing? Everything. Because I guarantee you almost everybody, if you're not a current TGO member in this room, flies around in an F4 Phantom. And that's why you're getting shot down in this market. Turn everything off, silence your electronic nicotine, sit up straight, get ready to take some notes, and let's get airborne, because this is going to be different than what you've ever heard before. A lot of you, I'm going to destroy the number one thing you've learned about investing, okay? So by the end of this brief, we'll go for about an hour, maybe an hour, 15 minutes. Give you an up-to-date intelligence brief. Why? Because you got to know what's going on. Market was melting up. Everything was looking good. Bam, out of the blue, big sell-off this morning. Show you the only stock you need to own and a good substitute, because it ain't cheap. But there's a great substitute in ETF that you can trade instead of just trading this stock. So let's get into it. Ladies and gentlemen, real quick, intro about myself. My name is Matthew Buckley. My call sign's Wiz. Flew the FA-18 Hornet for the United States Navy for about 15 years. Graduated from the Navy Fighter Weapons School, the adversary program. I was kind of a good bad guy, I guess you could say. Did some combat sorties over Iraq. What's that have to do with trading? Absolutely everything. As a young fighter pilot, I started to apply everything that I was learning as a fighter pilot to my trading. Folks, trading's a form of combat. Somebody's going to win and somebody's going to get their ass handed to them. Which one do you want to be? Do you have a strategy? Are you implementing tactics? Are you managing risk? Are you contingency planning? Are you asking what could go wrong in this trade before you ever get airborne? If you heard what I talked about this morning, I called it a debrief or a brief. We knock out live trade briefs, so I know everything that I could possibly know about a trade before I ever get airborne, right? I applied that to everything I did, and it worked extremely well. Now, clearly, you don't join the Navy to get rich, man, but I was always interested in finance. I loved serving my country, loved fighter aircraft, the ocean, loved it. But it was always interested in finance, right? So applied everything, and it worked with incredible results. Eventually, I popped up on the radar of one of the largest options trading firms in the world, headquartered right there in the Chicago Board of Trade. This was our trading firm right there. Boom, look at those windows, beautiful trading floor. This is the intersection of Jackson and LaSalle in Chicago. That's the CBOT, the Chicago Board of Trade, right next to the CBOE, Chicago Board Options Exchange. There you go, there's the big windows. What did I do when I was there? What didn't I do? I helped build a hedge fund. I helped build the retail brokerage firm that used to be Options House, that is now E-Trade. Hell, you name it, I did it, man. And I jokingly tell people that I felt like Valentine in trading places. Literal old retail trader going up to the big leagues. But I found out pretty damn soon, folks, that smart money ain't necessarily that smart. The same smart money who missed the January, February market implosion. I didn't. I made millionaires here at Top Gun Options, who also missed the bottom a couple months ago. I didn't. I knew the Fed was going to get us high on hopium and stocks were going to explode. Nailed both of it as the smart money got it wrong. But the most fun that I had up in Chicago was becoming the founder and CEO of the Options News Network. It was ONN TV. I know John and Pete Najarian, big dudes, so I can't say anything bad about them. But no, they're good, great Americans. They try as best they can on CNBC to pay lip service to options, but it's kind of an afterthought, not us. For 2-3 years, we shot on the floor of the CBOT, the CBOE. I showed, behind the scenes what was going on in the options market to mom and pop, little old lady in tennis shoes like you all, and putting the ladder down, essentially. Well, no offense to anybody who lives in Chicago, 9 months out of the year, it's a pure misery. I don't care. I love people. Oh, you lived in Chicago? I love Chicago. I'm like, let me guess. You were there in May for a weekend for a conference and you had a nice steak and wine. Yeah, it was beautiful. I'm like, try February. try waiting for the train in Naperville when it's negative Kelvin. getting to the Union Station and walking to the Board of Trade for 4 blocks. Yeah, survival situation. No offense to folks in Chicago. Boom. I had enough, and I headed down here to God's Waiting Room down here in Boca Raton, Florida, where I started Top Gun Options over 10 years ago. We've been doing this for 10 years. All right, now let's go ahead and get airborne. Never come to one of these things and figure out how to learn how to trade, especially if you're following Dave Portnoy, guy who does online sports betting and pizza reviews, who's now teaching people how to trade. Not me. I've been doing, you ready for this, 28 years. I was commissioned an ensign in the Navy, went down to Naval Air Station Key West and bought my first mutual fund. Then I bought my first 2 stocks. My girlfriend at the time kept Ann Taylor in business, and I paid the American Express bill. First 2. So I've been investing. I've been trading for over 28 years. I know what I'm doing. So I'm going to shock you at this, though, or I probably won't. Wall Street is lying to you. Oh my God, wow, that's epic, Wiz. No, it isn't. I'm pretty sure you most likely could have figured this out. I hated Wall Street. People were gross. They pushed their own mother in front of the bus for $1. I'm not kidding. In the military, when you make it to a higher rank or you get to go to Top Gun or do some cool stuff, you put the ladder down. You help your brothers and sisters out, man. Wall Street, I got mine. Screw you, pull the ladder up. That ain't me. But here's what they're lying about. This, ladies and gentlemen, was on day 1 of investing. Whenever you even thought about investing, haven't you heard this? You ready for it? Don't put all your eggs in one basket. That's a lie, right? How about these lies? Why diversification is important. You must diversify. Diversification. 5 tips for diversify. My God. If it was a drinking game, every time they said the word diversify, I'd be dead of liver poisoning. It's a lie, ladies and gentlemen. Diversification is for people who don't know what they're doing. That's how Wiz said it, right? A guy a little older than me said it a different way. But here's why they told you to diversify. That dude. You ever watch Wall Street or Boiler Room or any of these Wall Street movies? Right? It's called commissions. It's called a brokerage. It's called churn. All right, boys, open up the phone books. Call the little old lady in tennis shoes. Get her out of Blue Horseshoe Loves Anacott Steel and get her into Bluebird Airline. Let's go. Churn those accounts, boys. Right? It's about commissions. They wanted you trading. They wanted you in and out and moving all over the place. What? You got it. But at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, diversification is a protection against ignorance. It makes very little sense for those who actually know what they're doing. So Wall Street has been sticking it to you forever, wanting you to churn and trade and this. Stop. This is the only stock you need to own for the rest of your life, period. Don't believe me? How about a picture's worth 1,000 words? Ladies and gentlemen, they are literally printing money. So one analyst, he's like, it's $10,000 a second in revenue, actually in profit. The COVID crash was without a doubt the best thing that ever happened to this stock, and it's only going to get better. Don't listen to me. David, I bought my first a 2270 call that I've been rolling short diagonals. That base call was up 51 grand. Jim, I signed up for Solo Amazon and just made 300% on my trade in a week. Amazing. Dennis, Wiz, this just keeps getting better. My Amazon synthetic call for the June 21 expiration that he opened on his first day of Solo when he became a member is now a whopping 100 grand on one contract. I wouldn't believe it, but I just checked and I do have a pulse. Sam, sold Amazon 3,000 calls too early late last week at $122, but still made 80 grand. Folks, this isn't Tesla. This isn't bullshit. This isn't air. Amazon is the Death Star, and I'll tell you the goods of this, but I wouldn't be a fighter pilot. I wouldn't be a good options trader if I didn't brief you on the threat. What are the risks of trading a single stock? Anybody in this room ever hear of Lehman Brothers? You ever hear of Bear Stearns? Jim Cramer heard of Bear Stearns. You know Jim Cramer? First of all, one of my partners in Chicago told me, and I'll never forget this, is he's like, anybody who takes stock advice from a dude who uses a cowbell and an air horn deserves to go broke and deserves to lose all their money. And he's right. Jim Cramer looked like Khrushchev at the UN. Bald dude banging his shoe on the table. I'll never forget that. You can Google it. The CNBC episode where he's like, Bear Stearns is a steal at $70. This was the height of the financial crisis. If you don't get into Bear Stearns now at $70, you're an idiot. 2 days later, it was at $0. Good call, Jim Cramer. Pets.com, Enron. Folks, I could sit here for the next 15 hours and walk through the graveyard with you of stocks that have gone to zero. But does anybody recognize a common theme in these 4 examples just here? I can. They didn't own a thing. Well, I'm wrong. You know what Pets.com owned? Pets.com and a dirty, stinky sock. Enron. What did Enron own? Nothing. They didn't even own the building they were in. They were a middleman of electricity. Lehman Brothers, Bear Stearns, what did they own? Nothing. They owned paper. They owned air. They were counterparties in trades, and when people ran on the holy shit, I think Bear Stearns having liquidity issues. What? Hey, Bear Stearns, this is Wiz. What's up, Wiz? Close out all of my positions with you now. What? Do it. Boom. All of these usually when a stock goes to zero, it goes to zero for a reason, folks. Amazon, it's physically impossible to go to zero, and we'll talk about it. But what are some other risks, folks? How about that dude? 2 years ago, I think like 6 months before I started the solo Amazon service, this dude woke up, or maybe he didn't wake up, he didn't sleep that night, he just rolled over, grabbed his phone, and took a flamethrower to Amazon. It's a monopoly. Jeff Bezos, the Washington Post, it's a lobbyist. Jeff Bezos is sticking it to the postal service, blah, 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 blah. He took a flamethrower to Jeff Bezos and Amazon. What happened to the stock? Whoa, I think Trump's really, and okay, forget everything he just said, and did that. Jeff Bezos and Amazon are sticking it to the post office. It's not his fault that the postal service and our government is stupid. How is he taking advantage of doing something legally? Going into the post office, dropping their packages off and getting them delivered for pennies on the dollar. That's your fault, Donald. I love when he wanks about things. When he hated Jerome Powell, the Fed chief, 2 years ago. That guy's awful. He's dumb. He should be, oh, geez, only if somebody could fire him. Anyway, I'm not going to beat the politics of this. But here are some other threats. Amazon ain't exactly hitting it on the great headlines here, man. It's there's potential threats out there, right? At the height of this COVID thing, $17 to go work in an Amazon warehouse and catch COVID. They weren't even like putting PPE on any of their employees. But listen to me, the biggest threat to Amazon, and I think Jeff Bezos and the big tech CEOs are testifying at the end of the month in front of the Congress. But remember this, Amazon, folks, is not Facebook. It is not Google. It is not Twitter. Every time the limousine liberal tech companies or Tim Cook at Apple, Amazon ain't them. Jeff Bezos is as quiet as a field mouse. Zuckerberg, the dude can't get out of his own way. Look at all the ad stuff going, or the Twitter CEO. I've lost 3 Twitter accounts, folks. Nice fascist over at Twitter. Google, they literally took down their corporate logo at their headquarters that said "Do no evil." The same week that the then chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff testified under oath. Not that you need a 4-star Marine general under oath, but under oath, as General Joseph Dunford said, Google is technically an arm of the People's Liberation Army. They are in bed with the Chinese army, and they are not doing our country well. What? You know what Jeff Bezos said a couple weeks later at an Air Power conference in D.C.? He said Amazon's an American company. I mean, he wrapped himself in the flag. So, again, there are some threats, but then listen to me. Anybody remember Microsoft or Standard Oil or the Baby Bells? 5, 10, 15 years it took for the FTC to go into these companies and poke around and come up with a recommendation. If in 10 to 15 years the FTC comes out and says, you know what, we recommend breaking up Amazon, do it. The parts of Amazon are worth more than the whole. I flew for FedEx for 10 months, hated it, miserable, young dude, and I was falling asleep in the cockpit. I left. But anyway, I still have some buddies there. A buddy of mine in corporate 5, 6 years ago, I'll never forget this. He's like, dude, I just heard from a buddy of mine at like GE Aircraft Leasing or whatever it was. He's like, Amazon just leased 5 airplanes. I'm like, he's going to do it. He's going to do it. In the background, the dude quietly built his own. He's building his own FedEx and UPS and US Postal Service. It's called Amazon Air. Look out your window right now. You see blue trucks driving around, don't you? Amazon Ground. The dude's in everything, folks. Did you see a couple months ago they filed a trademark for Amazon Pharma? There will be no CVS or Walt. You're not getting You're not waiting in the pharmacy anymore with coughing and hacking people. Amazon Pharmacy will deliver it for cheap. Whole Food, you name, it's the Death Star, folks. It's in everything. Okay? And I'll tell you how I feel as an American about stuff, right? American. I'll wrap myself in my flight suit and say, that's awful. I can't believe, those workers in Long Island at that place aren't getting PPE protection and they're going on strike. Jeff Bezos could find, enough money in his couch to like give every worker at Amazon a raise and personal protection equipment. And then I'm going to go Gordon Gekko and go, any employee who complains should be fired. The unemployment rate at 18% not only cut their pay from $17 an hour, cut it to $9. So I'm a little bipolar when it comes to how I trade. I'll tell you how I feel, and then I'll tell you how we're going to make money. What are the benefits? So if I just scared you away, I should have scared you away from just trading Amazon. I briefed you on the threats, and every one of those threats is either negated or can be dealt with. What are the benefits? You trade the same name, man, and potentially profit no matter what direction Amazon goes. Amazon's going up, going down, or going sideways. We have tactics in the options world where we can profit. You stay focused on the news and events that impact what? Amazon. Instead of a bunch of different stocks and ETFs, you become an expert in Amazon, reducing time spent on other positions. I got to tell you, I have a buddy who's an Apple market maker. I'm not joking when he doesn't even know a stock market exists. The hell's the VIX, dude? What is it? What are you talking? All he cares about is Apple. Okay? And Doc, I don't know if you're in here, but I love using you as an example. Buddy of mine down here in Boca, well-known doctor, 8-10-hour days, office hours, surgeries. The dude is swamped. Hey, man, help me out. Teach me. Take a look at my portfolio. Okay, man. Take a look at the laptop. 33 positions. I'm glad he was a doctor because I passed out. I had angina. I had a heart attack. Folks, I do this for a living, and 5 to 10 positions is sporty. 30, he tried to go through them. Well, this one, I think that's a pot stock. I don't know what that is. But anyway, all right, next thing. Well, this one's really kicking my ass. I don't know why I got into it, but I'm waiting for it to come back so then I can get out of it because I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, dude, stop, Doc, stop talking. How many of you have a brokerage platform that looks like this? You don't have to answer it because I guarantee you do. Why are you trading 33 different, even if I'm telling you, man, I do this for a living. 5 to 10, you're a jack of all trades, master of none. This is how your brokerage platform should look. Period. Okay? Now, if you're sitting there going, you know what, man, I get this. This is fantastic. Diversification is for people who don't know what they're doing or for brokers who want to make money off of you. But if you're sitting there going, dude, it's just since day one of investing and trading with, it has been beaten into my grape that I have to diversify. Well, you ready for this? Here's your diversification. XLY. XLY. What do you mean, Wiz? It's an ETF. It's an exchange traded fund. It's the consumer discretionary ETF. Can everybody look on their screen and tell me what the number one holding in the XLF is? Ladies and gentlemen, it's Amazon. So there's your diversification. Look at the screen. Amazon, Home Depot, McDonald's, Nike, Starbucks, Lowe's, Booking, TJ, blah, blah, Target. There's your diversification. So in the service, not only do we trade Amazon, I trade XLY. Amazon, $3,200 stock. XLY, $120 ETF. Exactly. So here we go right now. There's two names. Instead of 33 positions, maybe we're only trading two names. How do we target Amazon and XLY for max profit? Here's what we start with. Okay. Step one, we establish a base position. In this Monday's solo Amazon brief, I established a new position out into the future, bullish, out until October on Amazon. It's already up, whatever it was. We'll go take a look at it live. It's called synthetic stock. I will teach you how to do this, or a long call diagonal. After we establish that base position in the future, we trade the front months. What's the front month? You're sitting in it, man. July, August. We're in a front month. Amazon's going up. Okay, we'll trade some bullish spreads or buy some calls, which I did Monday, and I'll show you. Uh-oh, Wiz, Amazon's going down. It rarely does, but then we trade, who cares? Bear spreads, sell front month calls. Or if it's trading sideways, folks, we can do a tactic called an iron condor. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I need to admit a failure, okay? I failed with Amazon. Guess how I failed? About a year ago, I predicted, I give time frames, folks, on my predictions. I love analysts who go, Amazon's a $3,000 stock. Whoa, Amazon just got raised up to $3,000 over at Goldman Sachs. And I always go, when? Oh, yeah, well, they didn't give a date. I did. A year ago, ladies and gentlemen, I said Amazon, this is back when Amazon was like $1,100, man. Guess what Edward Matthew Buckley said? I said Amazon, these people are high. Amazon will be double what it is a year from now. Before my birthday, subtle hint, New Year's Eve, December 31st. Subtle, I said Amazon will be $3,000 stock by my birthday, December 31st. I failed. It ripped through 3,000 on Monday. I'll take that kind of failure. So look on your screen right now. This was Monday. Monday in the live trade brief, solo Amazon. It's every Monday at 2 p.m. Wiz, I can't make it at 2 p.m. on Mondays. I work. I send out text and email alerts, and you can watch the replay. Look at this. These positions are up $14,000 since Monday. How many? Wiz, you bought a bunch of. I bought one call on Monday, folks. This is the synthetic stock position that I'll explain to you in a second. I did both. $14,000 since Monday. But let's talk about Amazon real quick. I told you, well, let's take a look at some of the news items because this is a really, really, really good article. And this worries me, okay? So let me put my flight suit on and talk from Wiz as an American. This is bad. This on your screen is very bad. Why? Wiz, I'm seeing nothing but profits. I'm hearing you're doing the Lord's work. I am. Guess where America is? The difference between where the stock market is and real Americans down here is not good. Every Wednesday night in Fort Lauderdale, my one buddy calls it Bible study. I'm telling we have Bible study Wednesday nights. I call it a mafia dinner. We got chiefs of police, we got judges, we got business owners, attorneys. You got me. Somehow I snuck in. It's awful. Half the group is printing money. This lockdown has been one of the best things that has ever personally happened to me. To be honest with you, why? Because I nailed the implosion here and here to plus or minus a couple days, and we made millionaires. But guess what's happening, man? I'm starting to shut up about that, to be honest with you, because here we go with lockdown part 2 to stick it to Trump. I'm here in Palm Beach County. I was in Broward County last night in Fort Lauderdale. Here they come again, man. We're shutting down. Got an email from the Palm Beach School Department yesterday. Your kids aren't coming to school in the fall. What? So let me get this straight, Democrat. My kids can go to Disney this weekend, but they're not going to school in the fall? Why am I rambling about this? Because because Amazon, ladies and gentlemen, was a massive, look in the chat box. You have to read this. How the Black Death made the rich richer. Take this article, just scroll down, look at the picture right there. Companies like Amazon are already mega corporations, but COVID-19 could make them even more richer and powerful. Ladies and gentlemen, this business, the age of Amazon, it's over with. For the past 3 months, I think I went to the mall once here in Boca when they reopened it. 90% of the stores were either bankrupt, Saks, needless markup, or Neiman Marcus, just absolute implosion. I've been sitting on my Amazon Prime account buying everything, and I'm telling you, from food to pharmacy. A year from now, I almost want to make the call that Amazon might be $4,000 by Christmas. Okay, look at it visually, ladies and gentlemen. Visualize the size of Amazon versus, well, they have competitors. Walmart. I wouldn't be caught dead in a Walmart anyway. Home Depot. You can squeeze all these things together and it's Amazon. Look at the picture, folks. There is no competitor. I heard that Walmart's opening some sort of entertainment thing to rival Amazon Prime. I will never buy anything from Walmart. I'm a little too elitist. But this is the new normal, folks. It is Amazon. Amazon has rapidly, here's the D word for you, folks, if you're creeped out. Amazon has rapidly diversified its acquisitions since 1994. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the reasons I love Jeff Bezos as a CEO is he has said these two things. I didn't ignore somebody in the chat box earlier. Here's the point. Somebody said, I'd love if he did a 2-for-1 split. He will never do that in his lifetime. He has already said it. Amazon will never split. What has Jeff Bezos also said that I love? He will never, ever, ever pay a dividend to you if you own the shares. Well, that's rude. No, you're not smart. He's smarter. Why? Jeff Bezos says, why, like Apple, they have a nice dividend. Jeff Bezos goes, what? I have failed. If we make a profit and I don't take that money and go do something cool with it, I'm an idiot. I love the guy. So if you're in this for like a dividend, you will never get it in his lifetime. Look at this. Look at what Amazon did during the COVID crash. Earnings report. Why did Amazon pop right here on this earnings report? Because they destroyed Christmas. Now, if we didn't have this going on right here, folks, if we went back in time, this Santa Claus rally from October through November actually looked like this. It's flatter now. Why? Because it's done this. So it pulls this flatter. It's geometry. I'm not going to spend too much more time on it because it looks like Amazon was flat here. It wasn't. This is why it looks flat, because it hasn't looked back. And this isn't Tesla, folks. Tesla, like trading on, it's a car company. If it was priced like a car company, it would be below $100 stock. Don't get me started. But look at this pop on earnings. Why? It was one of their best Christmases ever. Then what happened? Wow. Holy crap, we're all going to die. Actually, people are going to die, but everybody's stuck inside and they're using Amazon, and holy crap, and they've never looked back. This was the COVID crash to Amazon. It was the best thing to happen to him. I saw a good meme. A buddy of mine, posted on Instagram. He said, "Hey, here's an idea. Now that we're reopening, actually, it's too late because we're closing again here in Florida. But he said, hey, now that we're reopening, why don't we close Target, Amazon, and Walmart for the next 3 months to allow small businesses to catch back up? Tongue in cheek, it's nice to say it's too late. They're already destroyed. your mom and pop retail stores, your hardware store, they're all done, man. They're bankrupt. Amazon ate them. It breaks my heart as an American to see small businesses, the engine of this country, go out of business. Let me put on my Armani Gordon Gekko suit and go, I don't give a shit. Amazon's printing money for me. That's all I care about. So I told you I'm a little bipolar, okay? But look at this. Well, that was a good comment. I'm not ignoring it. James, aren't we too extended from the channel and die for a pullback? Answer is no. First of all, ladies and gentlemen, you're done. I'm not joking when I say this. 3-4 weeks ago, maybe it was in May. I literally come in my office. There's a bookshelf. Now it's got cool models and aircraft carriers on there because how did I make room for my cool stuff? I threw out, 28 investment books and option. It's done. Nobody has how many people in this room have traded through a pandemic? How many of you in this room have traded through not only a pandemic raging around the country and the world, but have traded in a pandemic where the Federal Reserve is one step away from buying stocks? So what am I ranting about? You cannot trade off the left side of a chart. So saying it is overextended from how do you know it's going to pull back? It hasn't. So you can't use old stock market thinking to talk about Amazon. Ladies and gentlemen, the higher this thing goes, what do these Keltner channels do? They're eventually going to catch up. Folks, do you know how many times I said I'm going to wait for Amazon to pull back to get into it? And do you know how stupid that sounds to me? I'm an idiot. My students at Top Gun Options have done better than me in Amazon. I've used my personal accounts to focus on Apple and Microsoft for some different reasons. I finally got into Amazon. I can show you my personal account. This is the solo Amazon service right here. But this was done Monday, folks. Look, this was done Monday. So you can't sit here and say, I think it's gonna. Does 8 years of Obama count as a pandemic? We barely survived that, right? So, very long answer to your short question. I love when people say that. Well, I'll wait for it to pull back to get in. I said that here. I said that here. I said that here. So now that I'm finally in it formally in my personal accounts, it'll go back down to zero. No, I'm kidding. Folks, whenever you say something like that, like it's due for a pullback, okay, when's it pulling back and by how much? Because I'll short the hell out of it. And people look at me like, well, I don't know that. I'm like, exactly. And what is about to happen, folks? Look on your screen. E. What are we missing here? You're missing an E on estimated to be on the 23rd of July. I think that Amazon is going to report disgusting earnings. Now, some of you might be sitting here using your old stock market brain going, oh my God, this thing has run too far. It might sell on the news. It might, you're right. Or it might go up 1,000 points on Amazon saying, we've never seen money like this, as the rest of the country implodes. Final point with Amazon here, folks, is this. Money goes somewhere, ladies and gentlemen. Do you know the number one holding? It's number one and number two. The number one and number two, it depends on the quarter, holding of over 9,500 hedge funds is what? You don't have to type it. You're looking at one of them. The other major holding of just about every hedge fund is what? Apple. Look at Apple's chart. Now, obviously, if we compare Apple, let's compare Apple and oranges. No, Apple and Amazon. Amazon is in the green. Apple, ladies and gentlemen, is actually outperforming Amazon, but let's not bicker and argue. What am I getting at? I'm getting at the fact that it's you got to feel pretty damn happy to be in a stock that just about every quote smart money is. Now, of course, I've excoriated the smart money, but my point being is, and here's the deal. If you're talking about an overall pullback, you are preaching to the choir. Many of you, if you're smart, should be sitting here going, Wiz, why did you put on an October position? I thought you just said that there's a matter of fact, even if you don't join today, put this in your cell phone right now. Open your phone right now, and on November 1st, I want you to put these names. Amazon, make it an annual recurring calendar reminder. Amazon XLY Visa XRT. There you go. On November 1st, I want you to have a calendar. I'm not kidding. I have calendar reminders. These are called seasonal trades, folks. Guess what happens in November? Last year, it kind of started in October. We get a Santa Claus rally. Amazon, XLY, Visa, and XRT. I buy those 4 stocks on November 1st, and come about January 7th, I'm out of them, and I print money usually. Okay, Wiz, well, why did you stop in October with your current Amazon synthetic stock position? You ready for this? If you've been zoning out for 40 minutes, sit up in your chair. LW, that's one of the reasons, but I'm going to give you an acronym. Why? Because I'm a fighter pilot and I use acronyms. Drink. When? Right now? No. That's the acronym. There is a wall right here, folks, between now and November. Write this down. D, Democrats. R, Russia. I, Iran. N, North Korea. C, China. And you have to say it like that, like Trump says it. China. Nobody says China better than me. Believe me. Ladies and gentlemen, between now and November is a big freaking brick wall. You ever hear this is an election year, folks. You ever hear the term October surprise? If you haven't, you fell asleep in political science or American history. We will have a September or October-ish surprise where folks, from race riots to COVID, the Democrats have loved this. You think Putin wants, I don't care what you think. Donald Trump wasn't no Russian agent. We tore our country apart for 3.5 years. Nice job, Bob Mueller. $40 million that we could have given to 60,000 homeless veterans. Iran. Do you think Iran, North Korea, and China want Trump in the White House, or a dude that doesn't even know he's president and is wearing Depends and has dementia? So all of these things, folks, either together, in concert, or individually, are going to be an absolute shit show. So that's why, to be honest with you, I probably should have done September-ish, but I'm going to see this stuff coming, trust me. So that's the answer to whoever just asked, dude, why didn't you fly in your F-35 out past October? Because there is nothing past October, folks. Okay? And I will make this prediction. Let me tell you a little bit about my history. I was one of the only financial professionals on the planet that not only predicted a Trump victory, but a market rally. I got that wrong too. I said, not only does Trump win, but if he does, the market goes up 20%. I got it wrong. It went up 21.7%. Kind of like me missing the Amazon 3000. Sorry. But you know what? I'll take this over Citi, Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan saying Hillary Clinton wins by double digits. And God forbid if Donald Trump wins, the market will implode 20%. They all got it wrong. Guess what I'm going to predict? If Joe Biden wins out here in November, the stock market will go down a minimum of 25%. And I'll probably get that wrong. It'll probably be 30 to 40. Secretary of the Treasury, Elizabeth Warren. Does that sound good to you? Does a 42% wealth tax sound good to you? Does Joe Biden earlier this week saying, I will undo the $2 trillion in Donald Trump tax cuts? Are you kidding me? The market will absolutely implode. Why am I rambling about this? Because we're talking about Amazon. I think it ain't going to be immune to a massive implosion, but it will be a massive buying opportunity. So, very short answer to your long question of why did I do that? Because the world ends at the end of October, folks. I'm not kidding you. I'm deadly serious about this stuff. Charles, if Trump wins, the market will go up. It will resume its climb, and the market will go up 10 to 15% in 2021. So you have a choice, folks. I don't want to turn this into a political speech, but I'm a trader. I'm an investor. I have to do these things, folks. Right? Other Charles, a couple Charles. Elliott Wave analysis has suggested a rally after the election implies Trump win. There you go. So, well, Jeff, it's a good point. Jerome Powell sat on 60 Minutes 5 weeks ago, a month ago, and gave an interview. The Fed chief on 60 Minutes. What did he say? I make money. I print it digitally, or we can print more money and just send it to the Federal Reserve banks. But ladies and gentlemen, Jerome Powell, the dude doesn't look like he goes to the gym too much. He will not, I don't care if he starts buying stocks. I've told my TGO members for the longest time, the Fred Sanford, the I'm having a heart attack, dumb, you big dummy, I'm coming, Elizabeth. The Fred Sanford heart attack market will happen when when we think there's a Fed safety net in here and we implode. And that will happen if Joe Biden wins. So enough. What am I getting at? I stopped my bullish Amazon out to October, and it's going to do this into that wall. I'll unwind those positions for nice profit. If I'm wrong, and folks, I want to be wrong. Haha, Wiz, you got it wrong. Biden didn't win, and Amazon kept going. Well, good. Folks, I'll miss. I have no problems missing up on a little bit of upside and then get into the airplane than being in the airplane and it does that. I'd rather be on the ground wishing I was in the air than in the air yelling at God that I wish I was on the ground. Does everybody understand that? You got it, Edmund. We will absolutely, dude. I sat on the porch next to the pool watching the futures market at 3 a.m. when Trump won, and I sat there and I told Susie, I'm like, watch it turn. That's the knee-jerk unwinding of positions, and then the market never looked back. We went up 21.7% on the S&P 500. I had one of the best years in 28 years of my life. As the smart money got stupid. Look at this. How's 2015 year to date? I'm sorry. How's 2015? Hedge fund liquidations soared to the highest level since 2015. Iconic short seller lands down hedge fund closing. Its worst ever losses. The smart money is stupid. They're awful, folks. Here's the smart money, ladies and gentlemen. What did the smart money tell you to do on the way down? What did I tell you to do right here? I was in a live trade brief. I said, holy shit. Get long volatility, buy puts on the S&P 500, get into cash. And I made about 27 people into millionaires. What did the smart money do as I was making millionaires? Oh, here's a bottom. I'd buy here. I'm nibbling here. This is definitely where I'd step in. I'm buying here. First of all, they'd be broke about here, and they were all full of shit. Misery loves company. On the way down, the smart money told you to keep buying, didn't they? And then on the way up, what did they do? Like Jeffrey Gundlach, who manages $150 billion double line capital in Los Angeles. April 27th. How do I remember it to the day? Susie's birthday. I'm short. I'm out of cash now and short in this market. And for the next 3 months, he's been destroyed. And he's wanked on Twitter almost daily about the Fed doing it to him. So the smart money told you to buy on the way down and told you not to buy on the way up. You are the smart money, folks. Trust me, I've been there. I went from sitting at my laptop, or I didn't even think my laptop trading. And then I got up to Chicago. I'm like in these big boardrooms and artwork, like billions on Showtime. I'm like, oh my God, if I'm the smartest guy in the room, we're all in a lot of trouble. So anyway, all right. So, and this is, again, these were trades placed Monday, and they're doing fantastic. I would do these today. So if you're looking for a trade on Amazon, I would do synthetic stock on Amazon out to October, or just buy some calls, right? You can just buy some calls. John, Wiz, reality. I have about 8K to play with and a demanding job where I can maybe check markets trades 3 times a day, 7 to 4 for about 5 minutes. Is there a path for me to use the service? Good segue, John. First of all, with the 8K thing, I can't answer that. I will go back. We've been in business for 10 years because there ain't no gray. I can't give you, John, individual investment advice. I can train you how to trade options. You are the PIC. You are the pilot in command of your aircraft. Okay. So getting that out of the way, I'll train you how to do this. But those type of investment decisions, I use the term PIC. You're the pilot in command. So now, having said that, let me tell you how you can get on board with this, because this is our I hate saying the word cheap because it makes me feel gross. It's how about least expensive? Something that's like nice. Least expensive service. This is a good segue to get on board with Top Gun Options. So here's there you go, Edmund. Thank you. And John, affordable entry. Thanks, guys. You're all hired into my marketing department. This service is called Solo Amazon. It's our newest live trading service here at Top Gun Options, and it's our most popular. Our normal briefs, I do 4 briefs throughout, well, 5 technically, 2 on Monday and 3 the rest of the week, but 4 other briefs in a service called Full Throttle. Those are $167 a month each, individually. This one, folks, is $97 a month. I told you I went down to Bible study my buddy calls it Bible study. I call it the mafia dinner. Before I went down there early just so I like going and looking on site, like what's going on. I went down Las Olas and Fort Lauderdale. I need to see what people are doing, right? But I was sitting at this bar on Las Olas. I had a glass of Macallan 18. It was $68. I was like, holy crap. Anyway, my point being is, folks, that for essentially the cost of a nice drink down in Fort Lauderdale, you can get airborne. So I just put the link in the chat box. Okay, this one is ready to. It's really easy. So just go in the chat box over on the right, your little control panel. It's topgunoptions.com/solo. That's the name of the service. -Amazon. That's what we trade. -monthly. Solo Amazon monthly. Here's the, you know what? This is old. So look at this. Here's our year-to-date performance in the portfolio. That slide is old. Let's go live. What's our there you go. Look, here's our year-to-date performance in this portfolio. 86,772. I got my ass kicked in XLY when the market imploded, and I thought it was going to do another leg down, and right there, Jerome Powell and the Fed stepped in, dropped the financial nuke, and we haven't looked back. So I got that wrong, and I learned from my losses, man. So I'm not the guy that's going to sit here and go, this service is only winning trades and we never lose. Man, there's some red right there. But take a look at that. 124 grand in Amazon position. So we're up 86.5 year to date in this portfolio. So very, very good performance. So I apologize that slide is off. I need to update it. Or no, I just need to go over and show it to you live. Men lie, numbers don't. Can attend. So for whoever just asked that, hey man, I work. So every Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern is the brief. Hey man, 80% of our members work. But I sent in the brief either before or during, and you watch me do it, or after. I send out the text alert and an email. They fire simultaneously. Okay. Here's a perfect example. Here's an XLY text alert. Top Gun Options, Solo Amazon, that's the name of the service. New XLY bear call spread, 80 contracts, June 5th. Sell these, buy these. And then what fires? At the same time that your phone's buzzing with a text alert, you're going to get an email that has a screenshot of the actual trade. Selling this strike, buying this strike for this price. And you also get the risk. Here's how much the potential loss is. Here's the max potential loss. Here's the max potential profit with the probability. It's all there, man. So if you can't be in the brief, it's like you're sitting in the brief. And then what happens? About 30 minutes after the brief, I post the replay. After I stop recording, it takes about 20 minutes for the replay to render, and then I post it to our YouTube account, and then I put it on the member site. So if you can't attend Monday at 2, get home from work, after dinner, watch the brief. After the kids go to bed, watch the brief. You're busy all week, watch it on Sunday. Watch it whenever you get a chance. Does that make sense? Okay. Here's what I'm going to do as well. Our proprietary materials. These are your folks. When I went to flight school in Pensacola and I showed up, here's a book on aerodynamics. Here's a book on the weather. Here's a book on engines. Here's what I'm going to throw in today. The primary, intermediate, and advanced workbooks. Bury your face in these and start reading. If you need a little brush up in options, primary, baby. This is volatility. These are calls. These are puts. This is that. A little bit more intermediate tactics. These are bullish spreads or bearish spreads. And then we move into some advanced tactics, a building block approach. I stole this from the Navy, man. I showed it to Pensacola. I went through primary, then intermediate, then advanced. You take a building block approach, right? Now, if you're a political science major like me and a knuckle-dragging Navy pilot, let's do some quick math. It's $97 for a month. If you went to the web page right now and bought these manuals individually, they're $197. Okay, for the political science guys, you got it. Ding, ding, ding. Put that $100 back in your pocket. So you're getting $197 worth of manuals, man. This is. I don't agree with this, to be honest with you, but my marketing folks are like, you have to make it like this stupid offer. I'm like, well, it is stupid, but people connect to it. I'm like, okay, great. Throw in the manual. So here's what you get. Quick review, and then I'll wrap up. A lot of good questions. I'm not ignoring you. I want to stay on time, on target, man. Here's what you get. Access to the solo Amazon brief. It's live every Monday at 2. In our weekly debrief, which isn't this service, but this morning we made 8-9 grand on buying S&P 500 puts when the news broke about Trump's tax returns, man. It did that. And we bought some puts right there, and it was excellent. So a live trade brief, if you can attend, is pretty damn cool. It's awesome. You also get the text and email alerts. You get the manuals for $197. You're getting them essentially for it's $100 back in your pocket. And you get access to our online forum. It's called the Ready Room. Okay. Now, the Ready Room of a fighter squadron, I learned a lot about flying and fighting the Hornet from a manual. You know where I learned how to fly and fight the Hornet? Was sitting in the Ready Room, man, with my boots up on the table, listening to other fighter pilots, interacting with it. It's our online forum on the TGO member page. Let me show you the Ready Room real quick, just so you get a feel for what it is. In between trade briefs or at midnight, if you're laying in bed and you got a question about something, come into the Ready Room, man. Hey guys, I got a question about this, or I think this. This is great. Raytheon, Docu, trading through an LLC, Microsoft, Amazon Bull Put Spread, Disney. People get in here, very active. 18 people going back and forth. This is worth its weight in gold here, because I know trading alone can be lonely. Don't trade alone. Get in the Ready Room and ask questions if you got them, or post intel if you got it, right? Hey man, I'm hearing this or seeing this, or Red Team. Hey, I'm thinking about doing this trade. What do you all think about it? Mr. Parmar, I never say his first name correctly, made 200 grand in Amazon on 20 call contracts. Kevin, Amazon, synthetic stock, late to enter, up 200%, paid 8 grand, now 24. Diane, up 70 grand with 1 contract. Scotty, this is a recent one. Hey, Wiz, up 20 grand in 2 September and 2 October Amazon calls this week. I have never been there. Patience, persistence, thanks TGO. This was this week. This was from Monday, I think. Arthur, we already talked about Arthur and James. They're crushing it, man. So here you go, solo Amazon for only $97 a month. But here's what I'll do. I'll hook you up. If you're like, holy shit, man, this is great. I'll give you a 25% discount today. Okay, I think it's like $897 for a year. And based on the $14,000 potentially made since Monday, that's a pretty damn good deal. So here you go. Here's the link to do an annual membership and you made 25%. That's a pretty damn good looking trade right there. So right out of the block, if you want a 25% discount, there it is right there. So there's the 2 pages, solo-amazon-monthly, or this one's easier to remember, solo/annual, or no, yes, solo annual. Okay, and both those links are in the chat box right now. Now, as you go to get your slot, I want you to do this. This is pretty much a must. I think it's kind of like, speaking of Amazon, oh man, what a good segue. When you purchase, I think there's a box that pops up that says, hey, do you want access to the full throttle training? You want access to the full throttle training. It's coming up live again in a couple weeks. It's only $195, folks. You ready for this? It's 8 live sessions. I got to I'm still working at my schedule. I want to hop on a plane and fly out to Big Sur and hike around for a week. Maybe when I get back from that. Regardless, here's the point. Even if you do them right now, you get access to the last full throttle briefs we did. Was it last month or the month before? This is a must, folks. That's literally less than what I paid for dinner last night. Session 1, This is the market. This is basics. Session 2, long calls, long puts, short puts, covered calls. We take a building block approach. So when you see that little box that pops up that says, hey, do you want access to the live training? Yes. Here's why you need to do it. Because if I'm in that solo Amazon brief on Tuesday, Monday, and I rip through how to do synthetic stock, and you ask 90 questions, I'm not going to answer them. Solo Amazon's about a 30-minute brief. It's action-packed. It's covering the current trade, putting on a new one, and everything like that. I'm going to direct you. Hey, man, if you have a ton of questions on how to do synthetic stock, go watch session 7, the synthetic stock training. Okay, moving on. I'm sorry, that's what we're going to do. I'm not sorry. That's how we do it here. This is your training, man. The manuals in this, you got to do. Okay, please do not sit in a solo Amazon brief just with your mouth open expecting to be fed fish. I'm not Dave Portnoy at Barstool Sports. I'm teaching you how to do this, and I'm teaching you how to manage risk. This is a must. Okay? Lisa, yeah, I'll put the monthly up in a second here, okay? So, all right. Thank you, Larry. I appreciate that. Other companies charge thousands for that training. You are right, and it's a disgrace, but I enjoy the teaching part of it, man. I love it. So let me go back a slide real quick. These sessions are going to be, we're going to start in a couple weeks. We usually do like a Tuesday and Thursday, 7 p.m. I grab a bottle of wine and I sit here, man, from 7, 8:30, 9, however long it takes to go through each one of these things. Market's closed, kids are doing something. I sit here and I'll go through bullish spreads for an hour and a half, man. Market's closed. We're just sitting here all shooting the shit. The good thing about the full throttle training too, folks, right now we're in GoToWebinar because there's 394 people in here. In our full throttle training, we usually have under 200. So you guys can all see each other's chat and hang out and become friends, and we become a tight, new squadron, right? Larry, that's an even better point. During these training sessions at night, I don't use like dummy trades. Like if stock ABC does this, no, I use what's timely. All right, folks, hey, the market closed today looking like this. Let's take a look at bullish spreads on Lulu or something. The people that pay the $195, even if they're just learning about Amazon, you end up getting some great stuff out of it. This is worth its weight in gold, and Larry's not lying. Trust me. I remember what year was it? It's like a couple years after I started Top Gun Options. I was out in Vegas, and this was still around the time where, people were charging like $5,000 for like a 20 CD set of how to trade options. I stood that on its head. I said, I'm giving this stuff away for a couple $100. It's the practical application people pay for. I almost needed security, man. I was walking around, people like, you're that, what are you doing, man? You're trying to put us out of business. I'm like, nah, I'm a disruptor. Been here since 2014, so I can speak with confidence on that. Thank you, my friend. All right, Solo Amazon, our newest live trading service. The other briefs are $167 a month. This is $97 a month. I'll answer questions in a couple minutes. Folks, simplify your trading cockpit. I guarantee you, if you're a retail trader, you're looking at thousands and thousands of things. Stop. There's your F-35. This is what your trading cockpit should look like. You should be trading Amazon and XLY. Those are the only teams that you need, the stocks that you need to know. All right, now let me start answering some questions. I went over by 4 minutes, which means everybody gets 4 free shots next time we do our live event. May, is there a monthly special for accelerated retirement, or what's the annual charge for accelerated retirement? May, do me a favor, shoot support in email, support at Top Gun Options, and they can hook you up with that service, accelerated retirement. Mickey, what's the minimum capital required to get the least expensive Amazon call? I can't tell you that. Let's take a look at what I paid on Monday. This was about, what was that, $8,000 for one Amazon call. But Mickey, you ready for this? On Monday, I also covered what? XLY, ladies and gentlemen. So Mickey, if oh wow, well one call on Amazon's expensive. Mickey, what did you learn in this brief? You learn that you can do what? Use XLY instead. Why don't we fly in our F-35 Joint Strike Fighter out to September and buy some XLY calls? Right? Let's buy 10 of the September 134 calls. Look at Mickey, $4,800. What if I just wanted to buy one of them? $480. So Mickey, I'll teach you how. In the solo Amazon brief, I do both. Right? I'm like, okay, here's what I'd be looking to do on Amazon, and that's probably not super cheap. So let's go take a look at XLY. So I do both, Mickey. So that's why if Amazon's too expensive, you know, May, with the Amazon program, do we get analyze your trades too? No, you don't. Solo Amazon, as the name implies, is solo Amazon. It's $97. It's on Monday, and it's another brief. If you want access into our other services, May, just let us know. Okay. Bob, already full throttle. Can't find the no button to go straight to process on a 5, and I'm not sure what that means, Bob. Bob, yeah, shoot an email to support, and we'll take care of that as well. I never get diagonals and counter spreads right. Royce, that's why you need to do the full throttle training. I will spend an hour to an hour and a half after market close at 7 o'clock with a glass of wine talking to you about diagonals and calendar spreads. Okay. Let me scroll up, make sure I didn't miss anything. Yeah, it's good. All right, welcome aboard. Yeah, do the annual. It's 25% discount. Bruce, what's the minimum account size recommendation for the solo Amazon service? I can't answer that. That's just not. I think I kind of rambled through this before. I'm not a registered investment advisor or a broker dealer. I don't give investment advice. I can tell you that if you open an account with like an E-Trade or a Thinkorswim, they have what's called a paper trading service where you can get 100 grand, quote unquote, in kind of monopoly money. That's what you need to do to learn, right? I didn't read my F-18 manuals and run out to the flight line to jump into a Hornet. That's how you die. I ran out and jumped into the simulator building. I went over there, got engine fires, failures. I put myself through the ringer in the simulator before I went and traded anything live. So maybe do that first. And then, so here's Amazon. This is my personal account. This morning, I bought 2 Amazon contracts. I bought 2 of the October 3250 calls this morning in our weekly debrief. That was this morning. They're up $3,100 so far today. So again, I get that Amazon, if you're sitting here, well, geez, just one Amazon call is pretty pricey, Wiz. It's like my buddy said, Wiz, you know why divorce is expensive? No, because it's worth it. Why is one Amazon contract, but remember, folks, remember what the name of this service is. It's called Solo Amazon. If that's the only name you're going to trade for the rest of your life, one contract that might be your portfolio. And again, I'm not telling you to do that. Go talk to an RIA or a broker dealer. But my point being is, if you sat here and said, Wiz, that makes sense, man. Amazon Pharmacy, Amazon Prime, Amazon Foods, Blue Origin or Blue Air or whatever the hell the space thing is. Jeff Bezos, this was reported like a year ago, and I haven't heard anything about it since, which means he's building it. Jeff Bezos wants to build a low satellite orbit of 3,100 satellites and free internet. It sounds like the Kingsman, and free internet around the world. You want to know what's going to be on that internet? It's going to be Amazon, and that's it. He's wanting to launch. Like, I got to do more research on that because I haven't heard more about that. Yes, May, is there a discount for the annual program if you don't do monthly? If you do an annual membership, it is a 25% discount. It's right here, okay? Right there. The link is in the chat box. So you get a 25% discount if you do the annual. Werner, when you buy an Amazon option, do you ever Do you never look at in the money options? No, usually I do, Werner. If I'm doing straight call buys on something that isn't Amazon, I'll buy in the money calls so they have meat on them. The only exception to the in the money call rule is Amazon. Why? Because it's a hockey stick, man. I buy out of the money calls, first of all, because they're a hell of a lot cheaper than the in the money calls, but there's a pretty damn high probability that Amazon's going to hit those things. So what did I buy? The 3250s out to September, whatever they are. It might be at 3250 next week. So again, all of those case studies from current TGO members, man, they all started with one contract. So the power of one contract is pretty damn cool. All right, we got about a couple more minutes left. Didn't want to go too much longer. What other questions, concerns? Oh, by the way, folks, we might see Amazon 4,000 by Christmas. Okay, so again, don't be one of those guys that's sitting here like, I'll wait for Amazon to pull back to get into it. What if it never looks back? You're going to be kicking yourself. Okay. Robert, if today I do an Amazon bull put spread at 30.50 for July 10th, can I make $1,000 by Saturday? Robert, I have no idea. You can lose $1,000 by Saturday. I don't know between now and market close tomorrow where Amazon's going to be. I have no idea, man. So I don't know the answer to that question. Sure, you can make $1,000 between now and Saturday. You could also lose $1,000. That's the way markets work. Ian, is the trading all calls, puts, and no spreads trades? Does XOY come with Amazon? Yes, folks. Okay, one more time. In this service, we not only trade Amazon, we trade XLY because it's a lot cheaper. Let's take a look at what the XLY ETF is trading at right now. XLY. I was wrong. It's 131. I said 120. So we do both. Okay. So on Monday, I didn't get filled in any of my XLY trades. I got filled in the Amazon. So yes, we do both, folks. This service, it's called Solo Amazon, but we also trade XLY. Jethro, I have level 2 options authorization for that account. Then you can trade most of what we do. Barry, why XLY versus XRT? Somebody tell Barry why XLY and not XRT. Ladies and gentlemen, does anybody know what the number one holding, this is a question that I asked earlier, what's the number one holding of the XLY, folks? It's Amazon. A quarter of this ETF, folks, is Amazon stock. So a good proxy, a good substitute for trading Amazon, if you can't do one contract, would be XLY. Why? Because it's 25% Amazon stock. It's a good proxy for it. Okay, and like I said, if it creeps you out just trading Amazon, there's your diversification: Home Depot, McDonald's, Nike, blah 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 blah. Okay, all right, 2 more minutes, or yeah, 2 more minutes. Questions, concerns? Oh, by the ways. Jim, why performance difference between Amazon and XLY? Different trades. Nope, Jim, I answered that. I'll answer it again though. What happened with those XLY trades? I will show you what happened. Right here, ladies and gentlemen, is what happened with the XLY trades. I predicted a W would happen. Implosion up, and we started to do the W. What happened right here? Does anybody know what happened right there? So I had some bearish trades on XLY. What happened? That was the week where we had 6 million weekly unemployed Americans. What happened within 0.0, I'm not kidding, folks, within not even a minute of the announcement of the 6 million weekly claims? FED. Jerome Powell came out and dropped a financial nuke into the market that essentially hell doesn't exist. Here's a shitload of liquidity, and the market did what? Gapped up. I got blown out of like 2 or 3 XLY trades. That happens. But then what did I do? Put on a shitload of Amazon. So yeah, so I absolutely admit to losing trades. Anybody who's, folks, you ready for this? A professional trader wants to win how much percent of the time? You don't have to answer for time. 60. It's funny when I ask this question, when I ask retail traders, what percentage win rate do you think professional traders shoot for? I get answers from 100%, which means every trade, to 51%, which means I even get under 50. I'm like, that math doesn't work. Most professional traders that I know shoot for a 60% win rate. Why? Because over time, that's pretty damn good. Mine currently year to date is 76%. For most of my career, I've been in the lowest I've been is like a lower 70% win rate. I'm not your average trader. So absolutely. So a very long answer to your question, but that's where my XOY losses happened, was when Jerome, folks, that was a missile that I just didn't see. I was nailing it, man. We were printing, literally, it was disgusting how much money we made here, and then I said W, and it didn't W. But it took me all of Jerome Powell's announcement to go from being bearish to putting the rally flag on and being bullish. As the smart money said, no, 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 you can't, no, 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 I'd short it, no, no, not me. All right, and I went over by a minute, folks. $97 a month, essentially a drink in Fort Lauderdale, or $8.97 for a year. That is a 25% discount today. Get your manuals. Make sure you get the training. You take the one-time offer that says, hey, do you want the access to the 8 live full throttle training sessions? Do it. Please do it. Otherwise, you're going to be sitting in our live briefs going, what the hell is synthetic stock? And I'm not going to have the time to tell you. You need to do your training. Treat this as, oh, Greg, I will share that. And Scott, I'm going to share that too. So this is, I'm going to screenshot this, guys. Because this is what's going on in the chat box. And you can look at the times. There you go. Look at this. Greg, I just got here, but wanted to share a small testimonial. Oh, I clipped off. I'll read it. I bought an October 3,500 call yesterday. It is up 4,264 right now. Scott, just to say thank you for the learning, I'm up 50 grand on Amazon, 4 calls in 3 weeks. Let me expand that screenshot because I'm taking that, man. Nice job, both of you. Okay, good. All right, I'm going to screenshot. All right, guys, I'm going to screenshot both those. That's fantastic, folks. God bless you. You're welcome, man. This is why I'm here. I loved being an instructor pilot in the fighter aircraft. I loved being in the fleet years later as an old man and having former students come up to me, and now they're like kicking ass. Just like I said earlier, man. One of the reasons I left Wall Street was it's gross. You put the ladder down, man. You help people out. I remember every once in a while I'll get like some smart ass in the chat box like, well, if you're so good at this, why don't you do? I'm like, I did do it, man. I ran a $2.5 billion options trading firm, you jerk. Now I'm giving back. God forbid you give back. 50K in 3 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever that was, 3 weeks. Nice job, Scott. All right, guys. I think I've done my job. I hit my mission objectives that I briefed you guys on. So hopefully you guys get on. William, it's not Facebook. I'm on Parler. I'm on my third and final or fourth and final Twitter account. I'm over here on Parler. This is where everybody's kind of jumping. Anybody who's neutral or has a brain or is a conservative is going over to here. Twitter's done. It's a disgusting fascist platform that silences any speech they don't agree with. Bunch of brown shirts over there. Sam, do you think Amazon could reach 3250 within a week? I don't know. Amazon could be at 0 in a week, or it could be at 3250. Sam, I'm not sure about that. All right. Look at my testimonial. I just saw that. Pam, up 21 grand in Amazon synthetic stock in 2 days. Holy crap. Jane, all right, last two. These are current members jumping in the chat box here. I want you to look at Pam and James, and if they can't convince you, then we're done. Pam, up 21 grand in Amazon synthetic stock in 2 days. And Amazon, folks, is up, what, $50 right now as the Dow imploded today. Amazon has been ignoring it's almost like it's its own stock market. 21K, Pam. Nice job, Pam. Congrats. All right, folks. Welcome aboard to all the new folks. And let me show you real quick over here. Once you get become a member, do me a favor. Underneath member content, you're going to see Solo Amazon. Go to the Solo Amazon from Monday. Get up to speed. Watch our brief from Monday. Okay, yeah, look at the headline. Wiz gets it wrong by 5 months. I was early on my Amazon 3000 call. You'll take a look at the calls that I bought. You'll take a look at the synthetic stock that I bought, and down at the bottom is the replay from the brief. Also underneath member content, you're going to spend this weekend going through the last 8 full throttle sessions, iron condors, bullish spreads, double verticals. And like I said, I'm thinking about just going out to California for a week to take some time to hike around Big Sur, come back, and then probably I'll do the next round of 8 live sessions, okay? All right, guys, I'm done. Have a great rest of your day. Happy hunting. Make sure you hedge. God bless. Literally, God bless. And now look at the Amazon calls from this morning. They're up $4,500. Nice day of work, man. Okay, have a great rest of your day. Happy hunting. Make sure you hedge, and God bless. I'll see many of you at Solo Amazon at 2 o'clock on Monday. We'll see you.